Hey everyone! I've been practicing one landscape a day and already finished the month of May. I recorded this one as a demo. Today we're grabbing our watercolors and capturing the stunning Yellowstone River near Livingston, Montana, photo by Steve Wheeler. I'll show you how to quickly bring this incredible landscape to life, and then you can find a landscape photo that speaks to you and try out the tips you see here. Let's get painting! I was thinking that I would do this landscape with just the primary colors, but I don't want to. I want to use all of my fun colors that I have in here. And here is the palette that I made up. So obviously the 6 Daniel Smith, I added cobalt blue because I really like that for skies. Neutral tint and Payne's gray. Now this Payne's gray is by Winsor & Newton and it's a little blue. I've got a few earth colors, raw sienna, burnt umber, and sepia. I absolutely love Moonglow. Horizon blue. So these 4 here are opaque. These Horizon blue by Holbein, a lavender Naples yellow by Daniel Smith, and then John Brilliant number 2 by Holbein. And my absolute favorite green is serpentine green, so I couldn't leave that out, and then some sap green. So I'm going to use all of these as I want to on my little notebook. I also added some titanium white because I took a workshop and I really loved the mixes that the artist was making with some white added. And then I started playing around with lavender and horizon blue in my mixes, and it has opened up a whole new world. So for this painting, we're going to be painting the mountain. You see it there on your screen. And I'm going to start with the sky. I'm going to wet it first. And I'm using a 1/2 inch silver black velvet. I don't want it to be puddly. And the sky is very cloudy. And so for that, I'm just going to I'm going to get some neutral tint. That's actually a pretty good value of neutral tint for this sky. No, need to be a little darker. I'm going to try to leave a little bit of the white showing so that it looks like it's daytime. Back there, it's light against the mountains, but I am going to, in some spots, make the gray touch the mountains so I don't have a white outline. While that's drying, I'm going to use a white crayon, and on this little mountain in the very back, I'm going to add just some marks with the white crayon that go up and down in diagonal so that we get a resist. This green, I'm going to get some sap green and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of red, quinacridone rose. And that turned it brown, so I'm going to get a little more sap green. And I'm going to get a little Payne's gray. Now I have a really pretty green, and I'm going to do these real dark bushes that are up against the sky here. And they're in front of this mountain. And they kind of stop right where there's a little V in the mountains. And now I'm going to get the serpentine green and add it below this dark green and let it mesh with each other. Let them mix. I'm not going to copy the photo. I am trying to use it for values. So I'm going to add a little more dark. This is a very dark green. I'm going to add a little more of the Payne's gray and add it up here. And I'm going to come down into that serpentine green and just let it work its magic. That is mountain right there. And this comes over it like that. Okay, and now down here we have a darker color for the bank. I rinsed out and I'm getting the serpentine green. I'm going to add a little bit of raw sienna to that, make it round it up a little bit. And I want it to mix a little bit with that bank. And I'm going to bring it out like that. A little more of this dark. Coming down a little lower. And then coming up into here. I'm going to take off a little, with my damp brush, I'm going to take off a little bit right there. I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to let that dry. And now I think the sky is dry enough to try this one. I'm going to use that same dark green. I'm going to add a little more Payne's Gray, a little more sap green, and come up here to this mountain. I'm using just the corner of my brush. Okay, I'm going to rinse and get just a lighter value of that same thing and come down here. I'm going to add a little bit of the raw sienna. Just touching the very bottom of this, and I'm going to come all the way over to here. And just the corner of the brush, and I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to add a little bit more green down here. Get some serpentine green. If you don't have serpentine green, a good substitute would be green gold, or just a light value of sap green. Water goes back there. Don't you love? I love this sort of it's a cauliflower forming, because the paint that I put on was a tiny bit wetter than the paint that was already on the paper. And I'm going to get this, a little more of this raw sienna, and come down like this. And I'm going to add some sepia. Is that sepia? Yeah. Right here to the edge of the water. And I'm going to let it go up into the wash that's already on there. Now this over here is gravel. I'm going to add some of the serpentine green, and to this I'm going to add some salt. Just regular table salt. I'm going to move that pigment around a little bit. And now I can do this mountain. And for that I'm going to switch to a number 4. And I'm going to get the neutral tint in a pretty good value probably about a medium value. And I want to add a little bit of white. I just squeezed this in here so it's very gooey. And I want to add a little bit of lavender. And then a little bit of burnt umber. Ooh, that's pretty. That is so pretty. It's like a putty color. And I'm going to just paint in this whole mountain. And the white crayon will resist the wet paint. I'm going to add a little more neutral tint down here on the slopes. Isn't that pretty? And then right in here is just a little bit of green. So I'll just grab from this right here. And I'm going to let those mix. I'm going to dry everything and come back. Now, because this is a little bit dark, I'm going to take my wet brush and dab some off. Okay. All right, now we can do the water. And for that, I'm going to get back to my 1/2 inch. And I'm going to wet all of this water area. And it is a very, very light value. I want to say it like this stuff. I'm going to put in very, very light brown water because it is a gloomy day. I'm going to add some more of the neutral tint. I love that I'm getting some pinks out of this mix. And then I'm going to get some more neutral tint, and right along the edge, the bank, I'm going to add that neutral tint. I didn't want it right there. Damp brush just soaks it up. And now I'm going to add in this color for the reflections. I want to add a little more shadow right here. Get some more of the neutral tint. Okay. And I am going to add a little more neutral tint. I want it to look like it is reflecting these clouds. And there isn't really any blue in the water. We're taught to pretty much put blue where there's water. And I think I'm going to put a tiny bit of cobalt blue. Very light value. I'm going to leave those trees alone. That is so pretty. I just love that. And then while it is wet, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get some more sap green for this mix. I'm going to add a little Naples yellow. It's not quite enough. That looks good. I'm going to add that to this. And then while it's wet, I'm going to scrape with a credit card. I can find it. Here it is. No. Well, I can use the tip of a paint tube. Actually, I'm going to do a little more color on this. I'm going to get some sepia and add it kind of coming off here into the water, and some burnt umber. Some more of the green. I'm going to add some of this in here. And now with the tip of the corner of the tube, I'm going to scrape. I love what that did. There's lots of little grasses going all different ways. Texture, we can add in some drops. I love this right here. Okay, I think I want to add, this is a little too prominent, so I think I'm going to add a little green to that. There isn't much I can do about that, and that's just watercolor. That's just how it is. Okay, now I'm going to scrape again. I think this folded over part is really giving me some nice texture in the grasses. Okay. Now, if I were working on a larger piece and maybe on Arches paper, I would be adding more details, taking some things away with my eradicator brush, but this paper does not really allow for a lot of layering. So I'm using this book to help myself, to help me get my water and pigment ratios correct. I think I did okay up here and over here. I think I did okay over here. Not really sure about the reflections, although I think it still looks really pretty. I did not get enough crayon on the mountain, so I'm just going to use a knife and I'm going to pick out a little bit more snow. Put just a little bit over here. There. And we are done. I hope you enjoyed this quick little landscape video and you give it a try. Thanks for watching and have a great day.